Hello learners, welcome to Shareability Uganda. Once again, I am Kazuba Pius. In this video today, we shall be looking at communicable and non-communicable diseases. Communicable intestinal diseases is where we shall begin from. These are diseases that can spread from one person to another. Communicable diseases can be called infectious diseases or transmissible diseases. They are diseases that can be transferred from one person to another. Examples of communicable diseases include measles, diarrhea, AIDS, Ebola, malaria, bilharzia, dysentery, polio, and tuberculosis. Those are some of the diseases that can be transferred from one person to another, or those are some of the communicable diseases. And non-communicable diseases, diseases that cannot be transferred or diseases that cannot be spread from one person to another. They include diabetes, anemia, kwashiorkor, rickets, high blood pressure, cancers, heart attack, sickle cells, and etc. Those are some of the diseases that cannot be spread from one person to another, or non-communicable diseases. Let's look at diarrhea as an intestinal disease. Diarrhea is the passing out of watery feces. Frequently, you feel every time you're seated there, you feel like you want to visit the latrine, and when you go there, you pass out watery feces, stool with water, sometimes with even blood. That is what we call diarrhea. Examples of diarrheal diseases or diseases that with signs of diarrhea, or diseases that cause us to visit the latrine several times, and when we go to the latrines, we pass out watery feces. Some of these diseases include dysentery, diarrhea itself, cholera, and typhoid. What are some of the causes of diarrhea? Some causes of diarrhea include bacteria, viruses, worms, dehydration, and so on. Those are some of the causes of diarrhea. We can prevent diarrhea in the following ways. We can prevent diarrhea by covering our leftover food, washing hands before eating food, drinking clean, boiled water, washing hands after visiting a toilet, proper disposal of feces in latrines, washing fruits and vegetables before eating them, destroying breeding places for housefly. Destroying breeding places for housefly prevents them from multiplying in number, therefore getting rid of them. Proper disposal of rubbish. You must put rubbish in a rubbish pit where eventually you can burn them. Dehydration. What is dehydration? Dehydration is a condition where the body does not have enough water in it, so the body will need to be rehydrated or to drink enough water, so that to prevent dehydration. Causes of dehydration include severe diarrhea. Like we said, you go to the latrine but you pass out watery feces. You are passing out water from the body. That will lead to dehydration. Severe vomiting. When you're vomiting frequently, you are passing out water, therefore dehydrating the body, leading to dehydration. Signs of dehydration. What are the signs of dehydration? How can you tell someone is dehydrated? Dehydrated people have sunken eyes, little or no urine, dry lips. The lips are dry. Dry eyes, like the eyes are very dry, they don't have any tears. Sunken soft spots on baby's head, what we call the fontanelles. A pinch of skin takes long to go back to its position. Like, take for example, if you pinch yourself around the arm here, that skin goes back very quickly. But for someone suffering from dehydration, when you pinch or press their skin, it takes long to reset or to go back to its normal position. That is another sign of dehydration. Treatment of dehydration. How can we get rid of dehydration, or how can we help our friends who have been dehydrated or who are dehydrating, losing a lot of water from their body? We can give them ORS, or oral rehydration solution. Drinking a lot of fruits like water, fruit juice, milk, and etc. It is also another example of rehydrating or adding water to our bodies. How to prepare ORS from the sachets, or how to prepare oral rehydration solution. You wash hands with clean water and soap. Measure 1 liter of clean cold water in a clean container. Open 1 sachet or packet of ORS and pour the powder of ORS into water. Mix the solution evenly for like 1 minute or 3. Paste the solution or measure in a cup, then give the solution to the victim. That is one example preparing ORS or getting rid of dehydration or rehydrating the body. Preparing ORS using salt, sugar, and water. Remember, salt and sugar and then water are the main component or constituents of the oral rehydration solution. Wash hands with clean water and soap. Measure 1 liter of clean boiled water in a clean container. Measure 1 leveled teaspoon of salt and 8 leveled teaspoon of sugar in water. Mix the sugar and the salt with water to dissolve. Test the solution. You have to ensure that the salt is not too much and it is evenly stirred to form a solution. That is when you give to the dehydrated person in a clean container. Let us look at these two terms, a solute and a solvent. A solute is a substance, usually a solid, that is dissolved in a solution, which is usually a liquid. Take for example, you're mixing salt and water. In this case, to form a solution, a solute in this case will be salt, and the solvent will be water to form a solution. Then a solvent is a substance that dissolves a solute, resulting in a solution. So water is a solvent, like in our example, water is a solvent and salt is the solute. So the mixture is a solution when it is well stirred and evenly dissolved. Let us look at a disease called dysentery. Dysentery is the passing out of watery feces with blood. The passing out of watery feces with blood. Causes of dysentery. We have two causes of dysentery, and they are basically two types of dysentery. The first one is bacteria dysentery, caused by a bacteria called Shigella, bacillary dysentery, caused by a bacteria Shigella. And then another type of dysentery is what we call the amoebic dysentery, caused by amoeba. How dysentery spreads? Dysentery is spread through drinking contaminated water, eating contaminated food, eating with unwashed contaminated hands. Those are some of the ways we can get dysentery, and we can avoid dysentery by drinking boiled water, eating safe food, and eating with washed and clean hands. Signs and symptoms of dysentery include severe bloody diarrhea, abdominal pain, loss of appetite, dehydration, like dehydration, losing water from the body, and then loss of appetite, not wanting to eat, not having morale for eating anything. Then you get abdominal pain. You feel like heat in your abdomen, then heat and then some severe pain. And then when you go to the latrine, you pass out bloody feces. That is what we call dysentery, or signs of dysentery. How can we prevent dysentery? Dysentery can be prevented by proper disposal of feces, proper disposal of rubbish in a rubbish pit or a designated area, washing hands before eating food, washing fruits and vegetables before eating them, washing hands after visiting latrines. Those are some of the ways we can prevent dysentery. And then we have another disease called cholera. Cholera is also a diarrheal disease caused by bacteria called, or known as, Vibrio cholera. Signs and symptoms of cholera include severe diarrhea, severe vomiting, dehydration, body weakness. Those are some of the signs and symptoms of cholera. How cholera spreads? Cholera spreads just like dysentery, through drinking contaminated water, eating contaminated food, eating using unwashed contaminated hands, eating contaminated fruits and vegetables. Those are some of the ways we get cholera into our bodies. And then how can we prevent cholera? How can we get rid of cholera? Cholera can be avoided by drinking clean boiled water, covering leftover food, proper disposal of feces and rubbish, washing hands before eating food. Typhoid fever or enteric fever. How is typhoid caused? Typhoid is caused by a bacteria known as Salmonella typhi. Signs and symptoms of typhoid include abdominal pain, body temperature rise, headache, diarrhea, discomfort, are some of the signs and symptoms of typhoid. Typhoid is spread through drinking contaminated water, eating contaminated food, and eating with unwashed food. The similarities between these diarrhea diseases is about hygiene. Contaminated food, contaminated water, unwashed, eating with unwashed hands. Prevention and control of typhoid. Typhoid can be prevented just like the other diseases that we've looked at, cholera and dysentery. Drinking clean boiled water, covering leftover food, washing fruits and vegetables before eating them, washing hands before eating food. Those are some of the ways we can prevent or get rid of typhoid, just like dysentery and cholera. Thank you for watching. I am Kaziwa Pius. If you're new to this channel, please give us a like and consider subscribing so that you may be notified when other videos are uploaded. Thank you.